Can you believe it? So far, we've covered staffing, employee classifications, background checks, setting up payroll, and compliance record keeping. We're in the home stretch. In this episode, we'll finish up with new hire and term documents. Oh, and employee benefits. Hi entrepreneurs, I'm Vicky Brown, and you're in the right place if you want to engage your team, boost your business, and grow your leadership muscle. You're going to find yourself dealing with lots of forms and documents, but the ones you will need most often are the documents that go in the new hire and termination packages. So let's start with the new hire package. First off, the offer letter. The offer letter lays out the elements of the offer: hire date, pay structure, position title, supervisor. It serves as the confirmation of the offer. In California, if the position is non-exempt, meaning eligible for overtime, you have to also complete and include the wage theft notice. Now keep in mind, this document is for non-exempt employees only. The package for exempt employees won't have a wage theft notice. The employment application is an important legal document. It gathers relevant information about the candidate and provides an overview of the company's hiring policies. And remember, asking for salary history is a no-no. Then, the background check notices and authorizations. Now we get to the tax forms. There are two, one for the feds and one for the state. And it's important to have the employee complete both because each entity has their own withholding tables and categories. Now the I-9 form is the federally required authorization to work in the U.S., and all employees have to complete this form on their first day of employment. Now you'll need a personal profile or something similar to collect important information on the candidate, things like emergency contacts, etc. And as a courtesy, include a listing of the current year's pay dates. The company's pay dates are also stated on the required employment posters, so this is an optional notice. It's also a nice idea to include the holiday schedule, the policy on PTO, such as vacation, sick, and personal days, and you should use this opportunity to give them a copy of the company handbook or personnel policy. The next group of documents are required by the state of California. In addition to information on the paid family leave program, there's information on the specifics of workers' compensation rights in the Time to Hire pamphlet and details on California's disability program. And finally, notices outlining the rights of those who have been sexually harassed or are victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, or stalking are included. If your workers' comp insurance company provides a medical provider network, or MPN, you also have to include the MPN information. And it's a great time to distribute the Cal OSHA required Injury and Illness Prevention Program. And finally, don't forget the Affordable Care Act required Marketplace Notice. I know. Lots of notices. Now on to the termination package. Far fewer documents. You'll need a cover letter telling the person what's in the package. And you'll need their final check. And yes, you do have to pay them everything on termination. There's a change of relationship notice. They'll need this for filing unemployment. And yes, it is required that you give it to them. And if they had benefits, there would be COBRA information. Now, hopefully, if your team is small enough, all the COBRA maintenance may run through the insurance carrier. But if you have 20 or more employees, you'll have to either do it in-house or contract with a company to administrate it for you. And speaking of benefits, one of the great ways to up your retention rate with your team is to offer benefits. Now, first off, are you required to offer benefits to your employees? Well, if you have under 50 people, that answer is no, it's not required. Now, while you aren't required to provide coverage, the fact is, in today's hyper-competitive environment for talent, medical insurance, well, it's just become a given. And I think you'll find that as you're recruiting, the subject's going to come up over and over again. So, what are your options? Actually, there are only three. 1. Offer group coverage. 2. Let your employees get their own individual policies and you cover the cost. And 3, don't offer anything. Now, we've already talked about how number 3 is a bad option. But surprisingly, option number 2 is the second worst alternative. That's because many times a company will say, oh, just give me a copy of your bill for your individual policy and we'll reimburse you for that amount. The problem with this approach is that the feds consider that money not a reimbursement, but taxable income. That's right. To them, it's just additional salary, and it has to be taxed on both the employee and employer side. So you see, group plans, well, they have special protection under the IRS. That's why your employee can pay part of their premium out of their salary and it won't be taxable income to you or to them. But paying for someone's individual policy, well, that's not protected. So it does have a tax load associated with it. Now, there is a way to reimburse employees for their individual policies without making that reimbursement taxable, but I'm going to leave that explanation to your broker. Oh, and by the way, what's a broker and how much do they cost? Well, I'm happy to say a broker is a licensed insurance agent that's a specialist in the benefits insurance arena, just like your business insurance broker is an expert in business insurance. And again, just like your business insurance broker, your benefits broker won't cost you a thing. They're paid by commission from the insurance companies. So basically, it's free expert advice and help. I always recommend getting a good broker as a first step in offering benefits. Sure, you can try to go it alone and do something online, but things can get really complicated really fast. It's always great to have a professional on your team, and they can answer employee questions as well. The what I call big 3 of insurance offerings are medical, dental, and vision. But there are loads of other options. Long-term and short-term disability, life insurance, retirement plans, flexible spending accounts, transportation subsidies, health savings accounts, ID theft insurance, prepaid legal, even pet insurance. See, that's why you really do need a good broker. They can help you plow through the thicket and make the right choices for your team. Now keep in mind, this is just the low-hanging fruit. There are a myriad of other things to manage if you're starting an HR department. Employee reviews, salary planning, the employee handbook, safety and OSHA requirements, employment posters. Yeah, I know, the list is very, very long. But what can I say? Personally, I think you should get help. And of course, I think that help should be in the form of an expert HR consultancy like ours. But this isn't a sales pitch, so I'll just say, congratulations. You've taken on a lot, but I'm sure you can do it. It will just take a touch of radical organization. And I absolutely suggest you take advantage of every available learning opportunity. Welcome to the HR party. Oh, and one more thing. Hi, I hope you're liking the content. I know it's a lot, and if your first thought when you're faced with an HR issue is, a little help here, then you might want to take a look at the LJE Masterclass. The Masterclass is a learning path for entrepreneurs, founders, and CEOs who find themselves with HR responsibility in their companies. Listen, if you're anything like me, you spend your time living, eating, and breathing your company. And I know you don't have time for some long, all-encompassing course in human resources. After all, you don't want a PhD in HR. No, you just need the answer to your question, and you need it now. Well, that's what the LJE Masterclass is for. Designed by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, it's an online learning path, and most importantly, resource. Sure, we have bite-sized video lessons on each subject, but you can also just go right to the step-by-step at the end of each section. And in fact, we also give you workflows, any and everything possible to let you get in, get the answer, and get out as quickly as possible. Just select the Entrepreneur Learning Path at leadersjourneyexperience.com. And don't worry, you got this, and we've got you.